All right, enough about me. Let's get this thing started now. Our first inductee tonight is the 1968 football team. And to bring them up, I'd like to introduce Mr. Woody Head. You used to get up here a little faster, but he's here, man. You are the man. Thank you, Woody.
Bright lights. Hi, I'm really glad to be able to do this. At my age, being able to do anything is pretty good. Anyway, I did write a few things down. But before I really get rolling with the 68 football team, I would like to mention the fact that it was really a delight to see Gloria Bauer, the co-captain of the 1968 football team. That was well deserved, because every Friday night there was a meeting at John Bauer's house, and Gloria hosted and just gave them a good evening that one they enjoyed, and it enriched the whole program. Oh, well deserved, Gloria. Tom Tennis, I hear that you've had 33 years as a midget football coach. Yeah, back in 1963, Ted Hart, Ed Belinkus, and I started the midget program called the Bulldogs. And they're going on still, and it's really great, and I'm so glad to hear that you're getting honored for that. And Cliff back, he and I competed against one another in high school. That's how long I've known him. He's almost as old as I am. Anyway, let's get to the 68 football team. Many of the members of that team joined as Bulldogs in that midget program. And for 2 years, they were 7th and 8th graders, some of them 6th and 5th. And they worked their way up into the program. A program originally set up by Dave Gardner, later on picked up by Bob Morgan. Sad thing is that those high school teams only won one game by default. I mean, they lost all the rest. It was kind of tragic. And that's kind of why John Bauer came to coach our team. It was the beginning of an era. Anyway, I just want to say that that team started with, and I'll get to that in a second. When John took over as head football coach, that first year of '66, they went 6-3. And a little note on that, and I'd like to just digress for a moment. That team that went 6-3 started out beating New Providence 12-0, lost to Dover 13-0, and then the third game they played Newton. Newton entered the field chanting, "Kill, kill, kill." And before that game was a minute old, Randolph was down 13-0 because they ran a tough kickoff all the way down to the 1-yard line. The fourth string then was put on the field. Actually, the felony squad had been on to kick off, and then the first string went on to suffer the humiliation of being scored on the first down, right from the one in. They kicked off, and Newton kicked off to Randolph, and the result of that was a fumble on the 1-yard line, and Newton scored again. So that's how it all began. John called the team aside and said to them, "No team that comes on the field chanting 'kill, kill, kill' should be able to win. You've got to do it as good people. Go out there and beat them." Guess what? They did. And Billy said, and I get all of this from the letter that Billy, my son, wrote to Gloria about that game. And he said that they had driven down to Newton 20, and Bill brought back the pass, actually sprinted right, saw Chippy in the end zone with a little room alongside him. And as he threw the pass, he was dropped into the mud by one of the Newton tackles. So he never saw Chippy catch the ball, but he heard the cheer. But the game was now 6-13. Few plays later, Bill threw a pass to Jimmy Coffey, and he caught a pass and ran 50 yards for a touchdown. Later on, Jimmy Aquavina caught a pass and flipped backward into the end zone, and the game ended up 19-13, Randolph winning. I tell you that anecdote to tell you that this is the kind of spirit that developed, and it was on that afternoon that the John Bauer era began. The same team went on in 67 to win 8 games, lose 1. They lost that one game to actually, I've got it here. They lost that one game to, wait, give me a chance. Actually, they lost it to Dover, and I've got it somewhere on my notes. Anyway, who remembers that score? Yeah, 6-7. That was it. You lost that one 6-7. The following year, you lost to Dover 3-6. Actually, they lost 2 undefeated seasons by a total of 4 points. And that was the point I wanted to make. But when they were now the team of 1968, they had 3 home games. The first home game was against Saddlebrook. They won that 40-0. The second home game was against Newton. They won that 32-0. And the third home game was against Morris Knowles on the new field. We had just gotten the new field, and that score was 28-0. In reality, they won those 3 home games 100-0. That is worth considering. So I want to just say that most of this I got from a letter that Bill wrote to Gloria in 1990 after John had died. And that's where I get my information. Bill would be here with us if it weren't for the fact that he had set up a fishing trip in Canada a year ago. And he's up there trying to catch a record muskie. But I really, again, congratulate the team of 68. Great work, man.
Ladies and gentlemen, the foundation of what has become possibly the finest football program in Morris County, the 1968 Randolph Rams. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, man. Gentlemen, just so you know, the Bulldogs play Long Valley tomorrow for the conference championship in Long Valley. So nothing's changed. Playing Pickerel boys tomorrow. Thanks, fellas. I'm sorry, gentlemen, please.
Where do you have all these photos?
Thank you.
Oh, we're trying to share them, yeah. Cool.
I'm pretty sure we were actually scheduled to talk. I'm not just horning in on the program. I just want you to know. And if you don't mind, I'm going to change the decor here just for a minute. Anyway, yeah, I've been freaking out about this for months, so you're not going to keep me from being able to at least say something. So I just would like to thank Mr. Hedden for his very kind remarks. He, in fact, has been an integral part of this program. As he said, he was one of the initiators of the Bulldogs. And you'll see there are Bulldogs actually standing on this stage. I believe I've given a lot of thought, more than I'd ever had before, that the success of the 68 team actually had begun many, many years earlier when the field next to the Hedden household was being used by the local kids in the neighborhood to play pickup football. So it actually all began with just kids having fun with balls. And I was told by Chippy that if there wasn't enough guys to play football, they'd play basketball. So these guys have been playing together for many years before they ever hit the formalized football programs of Randolph High School. Chippy had mentioned to me once that Billy Hedden always knew where Chippy was going to be because they almost had an intuitive sense based on many years of playing together. The fact that Mr. Bauer showed up in 1966 when this class, our senior class, graduating class of 69, we were sophomores. And I can tell you after reading the newspaper stories, of which I've kept all of, Chippy and Billy immediately came in and were basically full-time starters and had a huge impact on the success of that 66 team. That year, 6 sophomores lettered. And you have to remember, as Mr. Hedden said, that at that point the school really was 0 and 27. That was their streak. They had a total losing streak. And with his first game, Mr. Hedden changed the course of history for this program. So I would like to just take one aside here because I don't want to forget it. The hardest hit I personally ever experienced on a football field actually happened in the front yard of the Hedden household, perpetrated on me from my blind side by Mr. Hedden himself. Right? He just knocked me right on my keister, and I gotta tell you, I've never ever forgotten that. Now, we're not gonna go into all the personalities and who did what because we are being inducted as a team. One of the core beliefs of the Randolph program was 11 as one. We were one. It was one team. And I don't care if you were somebody who really never got to play very much or if you were the star of the team. We were a single unit. We were a home to fine precision to the practices that we endured with Mr. Bauer and Ronnie Rich. Now, he was truly the master. There's no debate about that. We had no idea what he lay in store in the future with the win streak and the 4 consecutive state championships, but we were there in the beginning. And so we really appreciate being recognized tonight, because I gotta say, you do wonder if anybody remembers. Well, because of this, you show us that, in fact, you are remembering, and we appreciate it very much. Thank you.